morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser on a Wednesday morning. Well, that's right. I am back to being the number one greatest dads, as we can see. And guess who is back? The number two of all time, Gordo. And you have become a true Texan, dude. You just got on air. The element of surprise. He just joined literally 2 minutes before we went on air.
Yeah,
with the Texas hat. What's happening?
Because I'm the second best dad. I was running around getting crayons and markers and a snack, and we had an argument about whether the grapes that I provided were adequate for my son's consumption. So we made a last-minute play decision to go for chocolate wafers instead. So I am the second best dad.
Yeah, chocolate wafers instead of grapes. Yeah, you're really pushing for that number one spot.
I panicked. Yeah.
And Adri is back in action. It's been a while. What's happening?
It's great. New York City, it's kind of warm again. Damn it! I'm still waiting for winter. Like, what's going on?
Winter can wait. Trust me, winter can wait.
No. I'm a winter person. I do not like the heat. Like, feeling warm and no.
How bad is New York? I mean, that's the thing. Like, cause Chicago winter. I mean, Gordo knows. He used to be here before he became a cowboy. I mean, it can be, especially the city, can be pretty brutal.
Like winter time?
Yeah. Like, is it as brutal as Chicago? Probably not.
No,
I don't know.
I
You're
don't
downtown,
think.
man. With windy city, that wind picks up, and
Yeah.
you can really feel the cold in here. I don't know how bad New York gets, though. I've never been in New York in winter, I don't think.
That's the question for me?
Question for you. You're the New Yorker.
Yeah, no, that like January, February, it's definitely colder, but like November, December, nah. Bogota, it's pretty cold. So I think that I'm kind of used to. Of course, it's not the same cold that we have here. But I love cold. That's different. So you can have like different opinions. But in my opinion, like January and February are like the coldest months of the year. Right now it's freaking warm, man. Like, it's hot.
What's warm? Because with Gordo down there in Texas is a different concept of warm. So, like, what is warm? Like, what is it, like 50s?
In Celsius is 16. I don't know what is that, like 50 Fahrenheit or something.
16 Celsius to Fahrenheit. Hold on to Google over here. 60. That is warm.
That is
I mean,
warm.
for winter, that is warm. For like end of November, that is warm. I don't know if I ever told this. I probably have told this on air before, my Celsius story. I can see Adri is still from the normal world, giving temperatures, but I know when I first came here to college, I was like, I'm in the dorm, just met these dudes, like American dudes. They had like the room across and stuff, and like we're talking, and we're just like talking. I'm from like Turkey and stuff like that, and they're like, hey, it gets really cold over here. I hope you brought some stuff, I think is what they were telling me. And I was like, I mean, it gets cold in Istanbul too, it'll snow, but so I'm like trying to get a gauge. They're like, oh, it'll be in the negatives and stuff. And I was like, I'm like, okay, I mean, that's fine. Like, Istanbul will get -2 or 3 or something Celsius, when it's snowing, obviously it's in the negative kind of thing. I'm like, oh, I can handle that. Then I go back to my room and I'm like, man, I wonder if these fuckers were not talking Celsius and they're talking Fahrenheit, because they have no idea what Celsius is. So I had one of the like the old school fancy sign, now a stupid calculator. I put it in and I think it's like -30 or something, which I had never experienced in Istanbul ever. So I go back and I'm like, hey, when you guys said negative, you guys are talking Celsius, right? And they're like, what's Celsius? I'm like, oh, fuck.
Look, here's my argument against that. We always used to give my dad a hard time. It's what is 100, right? That's a very good gauge of saying that is effing hot, right? That's really hot, 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And Celsius is 37. To me, if someone says 37 degrees outside, I'm like, yeah, that's, it's not even half, right? It's not even 50. I feel like, so I don't know. I know I get like the 0, 0 is much cleaner than 32 for freezing.
Yes.
But I don't give a shit if it's cold. I mean, I think we're all in agreement. I don't care if it's cold. I'm worried about, because there's only so many pieces of clothes you can take off before you get arrested. If it's cold, you could just put more layers on. So I care more about.
Trust me, Gordo knows how many levels, because he has boundaries over.
Well, the only thing I know is I won't quit to Celsius or my metric system. I won't. Even if I've been here in New York for 6 years, and well, hopefully that won't change. But for now, I'm not changing it. Like I'm gonna say
You using like an
Celsius,
old
and I'm
school
gonna say
wooden refrigerator
football.
or what? Is that
Yeah, I don't
refrigerator
know.
wood or?
Yeah,
See, that's odd. Like being from Colombia, that you will like the cold. Is it just because it? Yeah, there we go. We found some wood. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, let's get to anybody in the chat. Good morning, by the way. If you're watching live right now, hit that thumbs up. If you're on the Facebook side, like Jason over here, good morning, sir. Hop onto YouTube as well. Give us a follow over there. We are at 1,499. So you have the chance to be the 1,500th person, and your
Let's
award
go.
is being the 1,500th person is basically your award, but you'll be the one to help us get across the board over there. So, but good morning to everybody. Hit that thumbs up on match day again. Adri, there used to be exciting days when it was match day. Now it's almost like you're going to a movie. Yeah, you're going to a movie you don't want to go to, kind of a thing. But where are you at? I haven't talked to you in a while, and Gordo as well. So I'll get your guys' current mood on Liverpool.
Like honestly, where to start? It's just easier to get acceptic in these times than positive. Let's be completely honest. It's really hard. I really tried before, and in my social media, I'm still with that vibe. Like, let's have faith and let's la na 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 na, like slot. I'm sure his plans were not like the idea of having all these people injured and things haven't worked the way he wants. The performances hasn't been the best ones. It's just super easy when you're a fan to blame everyone, and just like jump from guilty to guilty when it's convenient. So just I'm trying to keep it like cool and just cool down and really try to analyze, and not from the fan perspective, but like trying to like have mercy, and not kill somebody because it's just unbelievable. Whenever I go, if I want to take a break from freaking football, I sit down at a table and everyone is like, it's like, fucking stop, man. Really, I can't, like everyone around. So it's just, yeah, it's frustrating, but like, I think we need to wait a little bit more just to really start thinking of like this sheet of like slot out.
Yeah, I think we're the same way over there overall. I mean, Bob, who I never agree with, it seems like, especially like the recent times. But good morning, sir. He says could be slots last game at Anfield. Jason says we do need wholesale changes. I think we will see a lot actually. But Gordo, first off, before we get to today's game, where are you at?
My dad texted me and he said, we're back to the era where his mother, my grandmother in Liverpool, when there would be a loss, she'd always say, I pray for the wives tonight. And my dad says we're back to that era. So that's the mood of my household.
I knew Adri was gonna laugh that. Like,
oh my God. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that was my dad growing up in Liverpool. So right now, here's the mood. I'm taking full blame for this. And I'm dragging Cersei in on it because I've done some math, right? So when I left Chicago for Texas, we won 6, tied 3, lost 5 after, right? So we had a 42% win. When before I left, we were at 74% wins, right?
Oh my
God. And then all the bad chi left, right? We signed some great people in the summer. We go back to winning, right? At the beginning of the season, we're at 78%. Sir Z packs his bags, moves to Texas, and now we're back at a what is it? 30, what do I have here? 33% win. So no one else moved to Texas, okay? Because it takes about 3 months for everything to come back. So I'm taking full blame for this, and I'm dragging Sir Z down with me.
you giving him 10 more losses. Okay, so let's talk about that, because we talked a lot about it Monday. So I think everybody kind of knows where I'm at with this, but I'm giving it, unless he quits himself, I'm thinking he has at least till Christmas to show some results and stuff. Obviously, if you keep losing games, but I'm talking if you like win one here, lose one there and stuff, like it's kind of like an up and down, which I kind of expect it to be. I don't expect, I mean, I dream of it like a 6-7 game winning streak or something like that. But I'm more thinking, you know, there'll be like a couple of wins, drop off again, a couple of wins and stuff like that. But when do you say, Adri, enough is enough for the slot era? Like, how much more time do you give him?
Yeah, I will say definitely like this year around January,
Okay.
like the coldest months of New York City. I'm becoming like the coldest beach. So I'm gonna give you winter time, man, like real winter time. I think like the beginning of the next year, in my opinion, I know it's gonna be like okay, that's it. I
Yeah,
would say.
that's fair, I think. How about you, Gordo?
Well, I said it in the group chat a couple weeks ago. There is no rumblings from inside the club, and it seems like they've come out supporting him, and it sounds like he's got full support. So it's kind of a moot point until those start happening. And oftentimes, you know, it's months when you see that disconnect between the manager and the back office, and then we see somebody lose their job. It becomes very, you know, people start watching, okay, this guy's probably going to lose his job. There's a lot of disconnect between back office, social media posts, interviews from inside the club, and what the manager is saying in the press conferences. And we're seeing none of that. So unless there's this miraculous thing that's never had, that I haven't seen, where someone just gets the axe, I don't even think we should start talking about it now. Which it's, and I understand like we all have our opinions, right, of like where we think he should be, but where the club is what actually matters, because that's what's going to happen. And right now there is no disconnect, it sounds like.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You know, when the club does come out and say it, then you can set your calendar to a 2-week thing, because it's usually the kiss of death when the club comes out and be like, we're fully behind him. And then, you know, like in 2 weeks, he's getting fired whenever a club comes out and says that. I mean, I feel like, and I think, you know, Alan says he agrees with you too, Adri. I guess let me ask you this. Are you just looking for results? Are you looking for, what's the most frustrating part? Is it the losses? Because to me, it's more about how these losses are coming and what we're doing on the pitch in terms of like efforts, in terms of like, I'm so confused with what we're trying to do tactically and stuff. Like, what do you need to see to say, I'm going to be the warm bitch? I'll wait till the end of the season at least.
I want to believe in his plan. Like I know in his mind worked. So I you know, and it's just it was a lot of changes for sure. But as far as I knew, he was pretty good and a genius. So I think he have had a little bit of bad luck with the right back situation and with in general with the defense. Um well, Konate is like a different story, but in general, I think there's something going on with Virgil's performance and with the bad luck with this side of the wing. So um, I think I'm waiting for everyone to be. I think all these people are gonna be better in January or mid-December or something like that. So if he has like a full healthy round squad, probably I want to see what's going on with that, you know, and Wirtz is now also like injured. So um yes, of course we need results, but
Yeah.
now he has an excuse in my head because he doesn't have like a full squad. He had like 5 people, 6 people, Leone, or even like, you know.
Yeah.
So I just want to wait for that.
That's fair. I mean, I don't personally, I mean, the right back situation, I definitely agree with. Overall, I feel like, yeah, the Konate thing is probably a difficult deal because, I mean, everybody complains about him like being trotted out over and over again. But not a lot of options there with Gomez's health and stuff like that. And then I definitely don't want to see Klopp like midfielder playing center back crap, because that's never ever works. But let's address this, because I never understand this. I really do not. Where Alan says, can someone tell me Bronkhorst's contribution to the team? I don't even know if we ever know. Remember, what was his name? Buvak, or is that what was his name? Klopp's assistant left, where everybody lost their freaking head. We're like, we're gonna go downhill now. Klopp is not the tactical guy, blah blah blah. I just don't understand if, like, what the assistants, why we pick on the assistant. I feel like it's a cop out if a manager gets rid of an assistant. We see it in the NFL always, Gordo, like, oh, like the defensive coordinator gets fired. Dude is working for you. Like, you know, like, it's not like he's doing his own thing over there. He's ultimately working for you. So it's one thing to, like, say, okay, I'm not saying the assistants don't have an impact, but to put it on an assistant, I just never get it, because ultimately, if you see something in it's not like Slot is taking the week off and just showing up on the weekend and be like, you didn't practice with these guys? What happened? Or whatever. Like, he's there every freaking day. So I don't understand. Why do you think people have the fascination with the assistant manager? Because I don't get it. I really don't.
Well, do you remember too, like, what annoyed me so much is, hey, I'm a coach. We got to call him a coach and not a manager. So there's even less of an opportunity to blame assistant managers, because he wants to be a coach. He wants to be involved in all the trainings. It's a little different for Klopp, who is more of like a man manager. He liked the big picture ideas. He didn't really get involved in training or setting trainings up. He was there, obviously, working through, making sure that his vision was being seen on a training pitch. So, but he had more of a opportunity to be like, hey, these guys are actually running the show and training. These guys choose the intensity. And we were told right away, I'm not a manager, I'm a coach. So I feel like there's even less involvement or less blame for the people around him, because he's extremely involved in the trainings.
Alan says, I'm not blaming him. I mean, I don't know, like, what was Heitinga doing? We don't know what these guys are doing. It's like the assistant to the regional manager. I mean, like, you know, they're running practice. I mean, they probably have different responsibilities. I would assume, you know, Heitinga and Brockenhurst have different responsibilities than Linder's had, because depends on the manager, like what you're delegating and what you're putting him in charge of and stuff, how much input they have tactically and stuff. We really don't know, because that stuff is happening behind the scenes. It's basically easy to say, oh, when somebody leaves, I mean, clearly, Heitinga is not a tactical genius, because we saw what happened in Ajax. So that's not really, that's not the part we're missing. Sometimes it's a dynamic, one guy changing, not necessarily because the new guy or whatever. But Ozan says, estoy asustado por esta noche, Adri. Whatever the hell that means.
How do you feel about tonight?
Wasn't it? I sounded natural, yes.
How are you feeling about tonight? Isn't that what that is?
Is that what it is? I'm a man of international mystery. Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's just he's just scared about tonight.
Oh, he is scared about tonight.
Oh. Yeah.
You got the noche there. Good job, Gordo. You're in Texas. You should be understanding.
That's 3 years of high school Spanish right there, baby.
Noche night. Great. I mean, there's something
I
there.
wrote it here somewhere in my notes. Chancholetas. But we haven't had John on since.
Gordo, you just need to learn this chancleta.
Yeah, that's chancleta. That is all you need.
And that's when you run. I know that one. That's when you run.
Yeah.
No. Flirting. Also, it's flirting with Google. Translating things. That's all he's doing over here. He bumps.
I
know we've been very basura, right? That's it.
See, this is not a dating site. Is news to us.
We're really basura. Yeah.
The only reason we hopped on here with Gordo was to get dates. So that's not.
That's what I bring to the
that's
table.
The disappointments. Maybe that's why John hasn't been on air ever since he saw the chancletas. He's been gone.
No, he left. I'm so sorry.
The
chancleta is for the team, not for you. Don't worry, man. It's okay. We can think different. It's fine.
He's not that bright. He probably took it personal and took off. But no, hopefully he'll be back soon. Actually, he's moving somewhere in your neck of the woods in New York. Actually, but I don't know where exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
For work and stuff, and obviously his work schedule has changed, so hopefully we'll have him soon on some kind of a show based on his schedule over here. But let's go to tonight. Well, this afternoon in God, my eyesight is getting worse and worse. In like 4 or 5 hours over here. But starting 11, I think somebody was mentioning from the Facebook side of things in terms of like the rotation, heavy rotation tonight. So, Adri, what is the Tony says John reported us to the humorous. The good news is I am also the HR. I'm that guy where like say like I want to talk to the manager. I turn around and I'm like, yes, I'm the manager as well, kind of a deal. But what do you want to see in the starting lineup, Adri? Like, do you want to see consistency and go full force? Do you want rotation? What do you want to see?
I'm gonna tell you what I think it's gonna happen, and then what I would like to see. All right, right, like my 11. So what I think it's gonna happen, it's on the back. We're gonna have Robertson, Virgil, Konate, and Gomez, and then we're gonna have Maka, Gravenberg, Soboslai, Gakpo, and Mo. I think, and Ekitike. I think that's
Wait,
what
don't you have one
we're.
extra person there?
No, 1, 2, 3,
We
4,
need
5,
one
6, 7,
extra in
8, 8, 9,
defense.
10.
They
I
should
need
just give us an extra person, anyways.
no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No. Robert Van Dijk,
We're
Konate,
handicapped.
Gomez,
We should
Maka,
have
Grab,
12.
Sobos, Gakpo, Salah, Ekitike.
So who's
I'm
the
giving you
midfield?
one
I'm
more.
sorry. I thought you listed 4 names in midfield.
McAllister,
Okay.
Gravenberg, and
Okay.
Soboslai.
Okay. That's right. Is Weird still out?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not good. I was hoping, like, I think Champions League is kind of his thing over here. Okay, so you are
Yes.
going
But
strong then. You're not doing rotation.
But no, that's what I think it's gonna happen. But what like my rotation will be because of Gomez situation, like the knee or whatever, because Slot was complaining about it, like he had to inject it or something because there's something going on with his knee. I mean, if Gomez is it's getting injured in this game, what are we gonna do? Like, you know? So it's like the panorama, like the picture, it's not good. It's really not good. So I will go with Curtis in that position,
Okay.
and I would put like in. Well, it's fine. It could be Robertson or Kerkes to give him a little bit more of um like rhythm too, because
True.
I don't know, like if like in terms of like giving strength to his idea, he really needs to put the people that he thinks it like they work. I don't know. And I don't know, Gakpo. I don't know if we should really give Chiesa an opportunity, even though he's just more he just plays more to the right or more like, but like I would like to see Chiesa, you know.
Jason says
Yeah.
Chiesa must start as well, and Salah must rest, which I can see Salah resting. I mean, these were games that he probably would have played normally if you had the full squad, Gordo. He would probably put like, Frimpong on right wing or something like that, I would think, against especially PSV. But what do you expect to see? I mean, I understand what Jason is saying. I just don't know if it will happen. But I guess the base of it is, do we want to go full force over here? Because my thinking is, well, we'll get to that, I guess. But even if I mean, this is not it's a must-win game only because of the current situation we're in, and we're trying to get a starting point of a run, not because of points and Champions League standings or anything like that.
Yeah, being 3 games won, it's not. Losing today would not be a big deal in terms of Champions League. I mean, we saw PSG last year, basically, I mean, just by the skin of their teeth, get into the group stage get into the knockout stage of the Champions League last year and then go and win it. So it doesn't, we don't need to win this game for the Champions League. We need to win this game for form, to get the fans back in, to get some confidence in that locker room. Unfortunately, I think we'll probably see Szoboszlai at right back today. I think he will start Konate. I think he'll start Verge. I think Robertson comes out, and I think we see Szoboszlai on the right side. And then, sorry, Sir Z, but I know you don't like Jones, but I think he was one of the better players. It's really hard to say that, losing 3-0 to Forest at home, but he was one of the better players at Forest. So I think he should be rewarded for that at least. And man, it's even the word rewarded sounds like overachieving for him. But I think we'll see him out there with Gravenberch and McAllister in midfield. I don't think Slot has the cojones to bench Mo Salah. I just don't. I don't see it. And he obviously has a personal vendetta against Chiesa. So I think we see Salah again.
Obviously. Yeah, I don't know. I did not hear about this, by the way. Do we know how long Wirtz is out? I did not catch the press conference.
They say mid-December.
Mid-December. So yeah, you can make that January, I guess. If it's mid-December, you're gonna see him 15 minutes here, 20 minutes there and stuff.
How much is this a he's injured?
He's injured?
You sit down and we'll say you're injured. You just take a little break, get your form back, get some confidence. We'll bring in some people in January, and then you can come into a team that's a little bit better. Because there's a part of me that thinks this injury is he might have a little knock that most players would be able to play through, and they're just like, why don't you sit? It's more for him than it is for an actual saving him for injury, because we don't need to bubble wrap this guy because he's done a lot of things off the ball. He's provided some assists, and nobody is particularly good, right? But having come in for the money he has come in the position that he's supposed to be playing with this auxiliary, basically pinball machine in the middle of in the attacking side of the field. No goals, no assists. I mean, it's tough running for him at the moment, and I think a lot of this is bubble wrapping him emotionally rather than
could be actually. I mean, that's a good. I feel like though we came back from the international break, and I was kind of looking forward to the Forest match because I was like, let's see what we see, kind of a deal, coming back. And it kind of sucks because we're talking about this with Gally on Monday night. You probably had a plan in place, and then you're like, we're gonna do this when we get back, and then you come back, there's no right back. So you're like, God damn it, we got to move that. And then, if you had worked out a way to, because I'm sure that's probably one of your, if you have a to-do list, that's probably one of your to-do lists is fix the back line, defense set pieces, get the most out of Wirtz has to be on towards the top of that to-do list. And he was probably a new way, and now he doesn't come back. I mean, Nick says Wirtz being out might positively impact the midfield like Mo going to AFCON. I do agree with that in some ways, Adri, because I do think the key is to kind of going back to what was working and slowly change the pieces, as opposed to, I kind of feel like he's struggling to fit all these new pieces in, and we're kind of like losing what we normally do. The best we played in the recent history, which, is not a lot, it's a really sample size, but, with the Villa match and then Real Madrid and stuff like that, where we kind of went back to default settings for the most part. Do you think it almost helps that, like some of these new guys are out so he can go back to the core? But the problem is we know who's missing from that core that won the title. I know you miss him. So he's not there.
You brought it up. It wasn't me. There's not a player, because a lot of people they have been saying like, yeah, but like Bundesliga is like shit. Like, of course he's doing great because it's not Premier League. Yeah, of course, yeah, that too. But like, calm the fucking on. Where do you find right now in our team a left winger that is gonna give you such a dribble and like both activities, like a defensive and offensive like situation in the field, and energy and positivity, because right now at this point, unfortunately, it's not only about how
going.
it's not only about like technique and tactic or stuff, but like the attitude of the players, for fucking sure. I'm so sorry, but like you can tell after last game, after the first goal, it was like it's over. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're done. It was like, what? No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. I don't remember, honestly, seeing Luis Diaz, even in Colombia, being like, or when he was playing at Junior de Barranquilla, like, okay, one goal, that's it, whatever. Even when Colombia, it's been shit most of the time, So I think he's kind of used to like being a loser in their teams until he came to Liverpool.
Yeah.
So we are really missing that piece. And Virgil right now is just getting frustrated and mad. You know, it's not like that's not no, it's like fighting with everyone, and it's just we really miss Lucho. I think it was a mistake. I thought it was a mistake, and I will think it was a mistake to sell him without having someone that is actually on his level.
See, I think that's like the frustrating part. I was totally okay with him being sold in terms of
Yeah.
the age, the money, it made sense. So no problem there. But you're right in terms of, I mean, leave it to the Colombian to back up, obviously, Diaz. That's why I knew this was going to go like this was going to be a 2-minute rant. I scheduled it accordingly. I was like, I'll bring it up in the 28th minute. She'll go till 30, kind of a thing. But the thing, Gordo, is I almost feel like, and this goes back to Trent's, of course, leave it to Kevin to bring out Trent to get me going. But I don't think that's the kind of player he wants, it feels like, because when you sign all these guys, none of them fit that profile, because I don't think he wants players as much to take risks and lose possession. But the problem is, I mean, when Nick was talking about it earlier in terms of, okay, that should help, more leaving should help and stuff. To me, that's where everything starts, is our problem is up top. And I'm not only talking scoring wise, but I'm talking like press wise, work rate wise. Because when you throw Gakpo, Isak, and Mo out there against Forest, you knew the press was not going to be good. You knew defending was not going to be good.
Yeah, it's change of tactics, change of people. And I think Diaz, we were never going to pay Diaz, right? So it's more of a mutual let go. It's, this is just me personally. We'd love for you to stay. It's always better to have somebody, especially after the unfortunate event with Jota. Like we've now lost another forward that we weren't thinking of losing. But I think that it was a situation where here's what we'd offer you if you were to stay. And at his rate, he's like, nah, I'm not interested in that. And then an offer comes in, and it's probably more than we thought we could get for him at the age. He liked the challenge because it was Bayern, and he goes to another top club in another top league, and goes for that. And I think it was more of a mutual situation. Yeah. But I do miss him because he was that. My coach used to always say, "Don't be so vanilla," right? And this is Slot likes the vanilla. We went from the heavy metal football to orchestra. It's still beautiful, but it's beautiful in a different way, right? It's everybody's got a movement, everyone's got a piece, and they play together. And you got the winds and the whatever, the percussion and everything. And Slot's like, get the ball and do whatever you can with it, and we'll figure it out on the other side. It's chaotic, it's exciting. Diaz was much more of that type of player. I mean, even I would love to see like a prime Bobby in this team, because I think he would be the key that would get everybody going. But I don't even think that Bobby Firmino fits Slot's plans, because he was such a wild card in terms of what he did with the ball. There was never, with Bobby, you could always guarantee that he'd come back and defend, which I don't think Slot likes that player to come back and defend and muddy up the midfield, because he's bought Florian Wirtz, who fills that position, which I think too, what somebody said in the comments earlier, that him being out might settle us a little bit, because I think it's super congested in the middle. And the reason it's congested in the middle is because Slot likes to overload the attack and have a lot of options. And we see the triangles all the time. So he has a lot of options to pass. The problem is these guys are very used to playing that counterattack ball where there's so much space, and now there's no space whatsoever. And Diaz is a player that he thrived off of space. And without the space there, I just don't think that he would have fit Slot's plans. So it's unfortunate, but I like that.
Can I say something? I just think he's pretty versatile. Like I remember when Gakpo came to, like Luis Diaz, when Gakpo came to the team, Slot changed his position, and he kind of tried to feed in like on it, like he's a player that actually listens, and it's capable just to do what you're asking him to do. So I think Slot in certain way could have like used him as he really wanted to. So I understand what you're saying. It's interesting, but I think I don't want to say personal, but there's something about like Chiesa, Luis Diaz, like certain players that Slot cannot take, and I do not understand. like what
I
it
think that goes
is.
back to his like the possession thing somebody was mentioning earlier. Maybe it was like Nick in the chat, in terms of like he's not, to me at least, it comes across as he's not very big on players who roll the dice, who see a pass that might work, or who sees like a space that might work dribbling into. He's not big on that because he wants to play the percentages. So like, you know, like that's why I felt like the Trent's never fit his style, because Trent's would roll the dice and send these 5 balls. One of them would connect and stuff, but he's not happy about, you know, one that one ball that connects can get a goal, but Slot is not happy about the other 4 where you turned over possession. So a guy like Diaz, who is, you know, maybe sometimes going to take people on and lose the ball because he's going to take some chances, I think he's just not big on that. That's why there's a lot of Semenyo talk. It was in the chat as well. And you can kind of see like how it would help. I just don't know if that's the kind of like player that he would like kind of be in for. I mean, that's why Nick says name one player who consistently beats defenders. I don't even see people trying. Mo at times, he's not the old Mo, like where he can take people on the dribble. But I mean, like with Gakpo, he lacks that top speed, I think, that Diaz had. So when Diaz was past the player, if he wanted to, he'd be gone. Sometimes he would come back and get past the same player again somehow. I don't know how the hell that happened, but I think the thing about Diaz was similar to Sadio Mane. There are some players who are difficult to defend because they don't even know what the hell they're doing or where they're going. Like when they have the ball, it's a lot more on like an instinct and stuff like that. Well, that's hard to defend because you look at Gakpo. I find as a defender, I'd rather defend Gakpo than defends like Sadio Mane or Diaz or somebody who has the movements. I have no idea where the hell they're going to go, what they're going to do. It's a lot easier to put Gakpo in front of you and say, oh, we're cutting inside. Okay, let's do that. You're going to take me to the line. Let's do that because you don't have the speed to beat me down the line anyway. So I think that's like the biggest issue. But I go back to the defensive rates. When you can't score, like if you're not giving the defensive rates and you can't score on top of it, then you're setting us up to fail, because that's why I think we put a lot on like the defensive line, and we kind of like nitpicking every time the goal happens, like where everybody is in that situation. And I'm not talking about set pieces, but like when a goal happens, but we forget like to rewind like 5-10 seconds before that, and how we lost the ball, and you know, like how we kind of like let them walk through the midfield and stuff like that. So what are new players going to do in this horrible style of play and tactics, says Spark. I mean, what do you think about that Semenyo stuff and all that? Is that even, part of me says Gay is an exception. I think that's a definite need and it's a smooth fit. But part of me says, while it's a player you need, is that what you need to add even more ingredients into a thing that's not working out?
Yeah, it becomes just a potluck dinner at that point.
Maybe somebody will eat it. Like,
yeah, right.
Put it on the table. Somebody will eat it.
The Semenyo one interests me because he was linked to us a few summers, and he was also linked to us at the beginning of the year when we didn't feel like we needed him. And so that seems more real because it seems like he's been a player that's been on our radar for a couple of transfer windows. I'd take him, but at this point, I'd take just about anybody, to be honest with you. Somebody comes in to change it up, let's see what happens. So just if we were in a much better position, I'd be like, let's think about our pieces. You know, let's really make some moves. Now it's just like bring somebody else in, just so there's there's the effort is what's bothering me. I think it's really getting to these players, and I definitely understand that. Like, so for some of the guys that have been here, you know, the loss of Jota, I see that all the time is you know, this weighs heavily. And of course, like, we've all lost somebody close to us and it has definitely affected us. But at some point it's like, it's getting embarrassing to him, right? Like, why can we stop playing like this? Because like, if we're just going to keep using this, then I feel like tainting the legacy of just like, but I do feel like maybe the like locker room has, it's a downing effect, and all these new guys come in and they're like, yes, I signed for this big team, I'm very excited. I go into the locker room, these guys just won the league, this is going to be great, and everyone's just kind of in a somber mood. And I think that connection, I mean, we're seeing it on the field, there is no connection. There's absolutely no connection. And you can't win games unless you're having fun together. I mean, I think that's what, like, the biggest thing about Jurgen Klopp was like, everyone looked like they were having fun. And even in that Manio or the Manio that Mane interview that we just saw,
or Sane.
yeah.
Mosan.
So like you could tell that like yeah he didn't get along with Salah, but like they had fun on the pitch. It was fun to play together because they were both good at the game, and I just there's probably a little bit of that. They haven't been able to connect because there's some players that came in very excited to a team that should have been excited but couldn't be excited, and now that opportunity to kind of mix and meld together hasn't come out on the pitch. Now I think you can only use that excuse for so long before it's like, okay, like we've got to lace our boots up because we can't just mope around for an entire year, and that's not what he would have wanted us to do anyways. So at some point that has to become, instead of like a give us a break, it has to become a rallying call. We're like, let's do something positive instead of constantly being negative. It's tough though, right? Because everyone handles loss differently. But I know that it's not an excuse that we can use until the end of the year, and Slot certainly can't use that.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing I was gonna ask. I'll ask you that, Adri. I mean, I'm kind of torn on this because I do agree with Gordo in terms of it's probably somebody in that locker. For every time we kind of forget about it, or we feel like it shouldn't be as impacted. Oh, if we didn't sing in the 20th minutes, kind of a thing, like, oh, maybe if you don't remind them, they'll forget. Like they're like toddlers or something like that. Don't say that word, like spelling it out so they don't hear it, kind of a thing. But I mean, you hear Robertson after that international game talk about it, and I think it says everything you need to. Like, this is in the background big time. Like, we might not see it. We might think, oh, we just reminded him by singing, kind of a thing. But there was no singing. That dude was in his hotel room thinking about that during that game and stuff, and bawling by himself, he made it sound like. So I'm kind of torn on that. I know what Gordo is saying in terms of like if Van Dijk or somebody says, hey, it has to be somebody like Van Dijk who has been there, who's also hurting as well. But I don't know how easy that is in terms of you can say it and you might be able to do that for one game, right? And go out there and do this for, but I don't think like every 3 days you can kind of muster that up. And if you're hurting and if it's not gonna, like, if it's affecting you, regardless of what's, I don't know, like you go through a breakup, right? Somebody is like, dude, there's other chicks out there. Other plenty of fish in the sea and stuff. But everybody can say everything positive they want. If you're hurting, you're hurting. Like it's not gonna change what you're doing.
Yeah, and I definitely think that's playing against Slot's plans for sure. And it's just really hard. I mean, we can say whatever we want, but like at the end, if we were touched about Jota and we don't knew him or whatever, just imagine how were they feeling. And I remember Timo asked me a couple of weeks ago about Jota's song, like if I thought in the minute 20 that had any influence. And at that moment I was like, no, I think it's fine. I think, now I think it's like, all right, guys, do we? I understand the tribute and everything, but I don't know. It's just you can like react differently in every game. Maybe you are having a good day and you are in the minute 19 and you hear like Jota's song and okay, let's go. Or you could have a shitty day and just
Yeah.
being really touched and hearing that song and like, fuck, he's not here.
Yeah.
It's just this team. Now I understand when a lot of people, when I was just like joining and falling in love with the team, were telling me like this stuff, it's pretty special. We have been through a lot of shit and just get ready. It's just really hard to just make an have an opinion because it's just
Yeah.
crazy. Like losing a player and a teammate for them, it definitely affects, and it gives an extra ingredient to the analysis of the game and of the situation, um of of the club in the Premier League. It's really tough, and I don't know. I think it has a really big influence and they should move on, of course, because this is like their work. And even if you're grieving and if you lose your sister, your brother, whatever,
Find some wood, yes.
Yeah. um Life goes on, and you need to show results to your boss and to the company, so
Yeah, I mean, Alan says everyone reacts differently to a death. It took me 2 years to recover from death of my wife. I visited her grave every day for those 2 years, and that's what I mean. Like, and you could, I'm sure Alan had a bazillion people telling him, "Dude, you have to move on," blah blah blah. But it doesn't work like that. You move on when your mind moves on, and I think in some ways, Gordo, people try to like kind of like rationalize it, but this is not like Joe in accounting. It's like we all lost somebody at work. This is not Joe in accounting that you saw like once a month when you X for the expense reports or some shit. These are like, this is probably your second family. You see these guys sometimes more than your family. And not to mention some of these guys played with them for quite a number of years and stuff. So it's a bigger impact than losing somebody in the office kind of thing. You're losing somebody literally out of your life, not just like somebody from work.
Yeah, and I was going to say I would consider this their first family, because if you ask their wives, they spend so much more time with these players together. They travel, right, which is stressful for players. They all come from different backgrounds, so they need each other. So sometimes when a player comes in, he doesn't have family, he hooks up with these players, and they do actually become his family, right? Some players will move without their family first because, we've seen this so many times. Look at Fabio Borini. Before he came, he was bouncing around the Premier League. He didn't move with his family because he wanted his family to be stable and stay there. And he'd come here and he'd live on his own. And what do those players do? They seek each other out, and they invite them to their houses for dinners, and they spend more time with each other. And I think it's extremely difficult. The other thing is Jota, and you could tell from all these interviews, even while he was alive, he was not just like Mane, right? Like Mane was a great player. Everyone loved him, but he wasn't like a presence in the locker room. Jota was a presence everywhere. Everyone that talked to him, from the Portuguese team to the teams he used to play for. I mean, look at Wolves. They were destroyed. He hadn't played for them in 5 years? It was a very special human being that they lost. It wasn't just, so it was a brother on top of the fact that he was almost, it sounded like a glue or a certain beacon in the locker room and in the training pitch. So it was a even harder loss, I think, than most people think it was.
Yeah, like what Mecca always posts in the Discord channel, like the passing links, like where the passes went during the game and stuff. Like if you look at it like that, like there's always, like when you look at it, and there's always like lines in between, like connections, and there's like connections to these guys, like these three always hang out together, and then they are connected to here and stuff. And there's always 4 or 5 people that have arrows going everywhere. They're like connected to everybody, and they're making it sound like he's that guy that everybody could connect to, and he was and then you were hanging out with Jota, who happened to be hanging out with Costas because he makes good coffee, and then now your buddies with Costas, like he was the one connecting people as well. So it is a big loss, and I think we do kind of keep forgetting about that and harping on players. I like I say, I find this year very difficult to harp on these guys above and beyond. We were talking with Gordo in a DM last night too. I just feel like some of the negativity is just like way over the top. I hate it too. I'm a competitive guy. This sucks. You think I like hearing it from Edip all the time, that the tables have turned and stuff like that? No, fuck that guy. So it's painful. It sucks. But I don't know. I'm finding it very hard this year to kind of like really pile on. I have no idea why, but I think that's in the back of my mind. That's the reason.
I think there's 2 positives from all this. If you can pull any positives, it's this team. We've been in a position where, we've stunk it up and been definitely a mid-table team. The problem is you look at the lineup that we have now compared to then, right? Yeah. It's positive. There are the pieces are here to turn this around, whether it's this year or whether it's next year. The pieces are here. All right. This team is, we might lose 1 or 2 of these players maybe if things don't go our way, but the core of that team is good enough to compete again. And we just came off the back of winning the league, which I think somebody had said in a podcast a couple of weeks ago. The worst thing that could possibly happen to Arne Slot was winning the league last year. It was great. It was a happy accident, but it has put so much undue pressure on him because we weren't expecting it, right? We planned that to be the rebuild year. That was the year we didn't spend any money in the transfer market. We bought a player that he never played, right? And we were happy with, hey, let's just make the top 4. We'll make Champions League next year and we'll go again. And we ended up winning. We cakewalked the league, right? It wasn't just, we beat it soundly, right? It wasn't up until the last day. And then we have all these high expectations. We spend a ton of money in the transfer market, and I think everyone was just expecting us to kick on. And so the 2 big positives is, A, look at the squad that we have. It's much better than it's ever been when we've been in this situation before. And then B, I think not all of it, but I think a good chunk of it is about this tragedy. And eventually people do move on. And so it's not something that we can't get out of. It's just, we're just going to have to ride through the storm. I mean, it's literally one of the lines in our song that we sing before and after every single game. And we just have to ride it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of hopeful as well. I've been, hopefully, like, there should be, I'm going to go back, not be lazy and clip it out of every show, but I'm still saying that this team will hit its strides in terms of Champions League at the right time. And we go far, we win this Champions League thing, which not begins, but has to continue later today with PSV. Adri, what do you expect? Give me a prediction for the match.
So, like, staying on the positive side, this is a nice information. So we have won the last 13 Champions League Group League phase matches at Anfield. So let's stay positive. And I'm gonna, yes, let's do it. And I'm gonna go with 2-0.
2-0. Okay. I went with 4-1, I think, on Monday. I'll keep going with that. I am hoping, especially to get some goals in people who are hurting for goals. But let's see what happens. Ozan is still trying. 2-0, Liverpool.
2-0. 2-0. Vamos. Vamos.
2-0. Even I got that. Good job. Gordo, go ahead. When I said it back to myself, I knew what it was. Okay, go ahead.
I like 4-1 as well. PSV is a team that we could beat. I mean, they have not been good in the Champions League this year. They are first in their league. This was the team, though. Now, I will say circumstances are different, and that's something that I was hoping we didn't have to bring up because I hate this part. But at the end, they were the team that we faced last in the group stages or the table stage last year, and it didn't matter at that point. But they did beat us 3-2 in that one, so they have the ability to score. But yeah, I like 4-1. I think the big thing is from the break, the international break, to the end of the year, there was no hiding. Inter Milan was the only team that possibly could have given us a problem, even on our best day. We have to win these games. And the fact that we started the first one, a Sean Dyche led relegation team coming to Anfield, scoring 3 against us, keeping a clean sheet. We did not start well. There's no hiding. There already was no hiding between international break and the end of the year, except for Inter. Inter was possibly one that you can give up and go, oh yeah, that's a good team, and we can lose to them on their best day. But nobody else. This has to be a Winks, because I just read the word jinx.
A Winks.
It's got to be a win. One jinx.
Our new segment, a Winks with Manio. Yeah.
Having a rough day.
Texas has changed you, man.
Yeehaw.
But yeah, like I say, for Champions League, I don't think it's that crucial of a game, but I think a win is important because you got to get started somewhere. I think this team just lacks confidence, just needs to rack up some wins. Ugly or not, I'll take the 3-2. I think they just need wins. A clean sheet would be nice in that sense. I just don't see it happening. That's why I went with 4-1. But let's hope we talk about a win in the post-match. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. If you haven't hit that like button, please do. If you haven't subscribed, please do that as well. I think, hold on. Let's get an update over here so that we can pass an award. Yes, we're at 1,501. So I'm going to go back and see who the 1,500th victim was. But thanks a lot for subscribing and your support. Spread the words. Up the Reds. Keep it positive. We'll be back. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you guys soon. Take care.